What's going on? What's going on? Good morning. Good morning. Happy Sunday to you and your family. I hope you guys are doing well. All right. This is just burning. So something I wanted to share with you guys. It's burning, it's fresh. I just thought this kind of raw stuff would be really good. But yes, you saw the title. My wife pissed me off. I'm now going home. Whatever that means. All right, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So, on this platform, my name is Ola. By first of all, my name is Ola, and what we do here is we extract life and relationship lessons from trendy topics, for the most part. And the goal is to help people build better relationships, to help people facilitate, help people acquire the skills for better relationships. That's the goal here. All right. And I'm also a marriage and relationship coach, life coach. So life is tough. Life can be difficult. It's, everything we see on this platform is easier said than done. And I completely understand it. And I've been through my own fair share. I'm sure you're going through your own fair share in one shape, form, or the other. Over the past week or so, we've talked about silent treatment, malice keeping, stonewalling, a very, cookie cutter type solutions that people come up with when they're confused, when they don't know what to do. Well, if you're confused and you don't know what you're doing, it's probably time to learn something new, don't you think? In your professional world, you'll be doing that. You say, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to lose my paycheck. Let me engage my training. Let me engage my education, improve myself. That's what you would do. But we tend to be very, very disrespectful to the institution of marriage. We tend to think we can wing things along when it comes to relationships, and it's dangerous. It's dangerous, because we're talking about your life. We're talking about your children's life. So it's high time that we start speaking heart to heart. We have the life stuff where we polish everything up, but right now I just wanted to speak from my heart to you. So, gentlemen, for you especially, I understand. I get your pain. Okay, I understand completely. I understand that your wife can piss you off to the point that you're completely frustrated and you feel like you can't get your words across. It's her way or the highway, and you're now resorting to Uni said, "Go home. Your wife is sorry." What's going on? I understand that you feel the need to resort to stonewalling yourself because really, at the end of the day, this is about you. We're talking about your family, okay? We're talking about your family, and usually, a woman don't necessarily have the luxury. They don't have the luxury to escape and run over to an hotel room or to run. They don't have that kind of luxury, right? And not only that, society would judge them way further than you could ever be judged, right? So I get it that you have this upper hand, but that's literally what translates to abuse oftentimes. The fact that there's a power dynamic and they already have, like, they don't have that, same luxury that you have. That makes you much more powerful, which means you should be more responsible with your power. That's what that means. Especially we're talking about you, your family, your self-respect, your ability to lead. Yes, leadership is difficult. Yes, it's highly rewarding. Yes, you get to take all the credit. Yes, you cannot play me too fairness because that's shooting yourself on the legs. It's not going to work out that way. Uni says, I just went off the title of the video. I know, I feel you. But that's what we're talking about, right? So I'm actually talking about a real life story. And not just one, but way too many people are practicing this. Way too many men this is I said it when we were going through it, and I was done with that topic, but apparently I cannot be done with that topic. I can't. I have to keep addressing it. So this particular situation is somebody who actually got pissed off at the wife and refused to go home and went completely stone cold, stonewalling, not picking up the phone. And these are my brothers. These are my brothers. And it's coming from a place of frustration, but then it's self-destruction at best. Okay, short term, I guess you can have your way, you can feel like you're landing a point, but long term you're destroying yourself, and that's what I wanted to talk about real quick. All right. Hi Sesmore, good to see you. All right. So this is an impromptu situation. I'll post it into the backstage again later to make sure everybody sees it. There's going to be lessons for everyone in this one. Okay. So you're pissed off and you don't want to go home, right? You go over to a relative house, somebody, you go over there to sleep there. Do you not understand that you're making fun of yourself? Do you not understand that you're demonstrating your lack of competence, your lack of skills? Right? I guess it's okay for a short time so you can cool your head because, like I said, I understand you. I get it. I completely get. We've all been there where you felt like, you know what? I'm just gonna pack a nice small luggage and go away because she can't hear me. She can't hear what I'm saying. She's getting on my nerves. She's just destroying everything. These are feelings. That's not logical. Those are all feelings. Doesn't mean she wasn't upset. Doesn't mean she wasn't disrespectful, right? But you're in the middle of crisis. Please hit the like button. Thank you. Hit the like button. Hit the like button so we can ping other people into the room, right? It's called crisis in life. You're in the middle of problems, right? And the worst thing you can ever do, gentlemen, listen to me. I'll speak to the ladies in a second. Listen to me. The worst thing you can do is this obsession with giving your problem away to your lady. You're shooting yourself on the legs. Don't do that. Your problems are opportunities. Your problems are opportunities. You have to really register this permanently in your head. When you're faced with difficult situations, particularly coming from another human being who you're supposed to be romantically involved in, it triggers you. It makes you feel betrayed. It makes you feel a sense of betrayal. I completely get that. And then what do? You yield to a solution that's actually going to make it worse. She might kneel down and start begging you and apologizing that, okay, just please calm down, because now she's probably hit with a lot of anxiety because she can't find where you are, right? She can't understand what's going on with you. But that's temporary. That's temporary. You're going to have to pay for that. You have to pay for that behavior because at the end of the day, you are the leader. You carry more responsibility. And that's not a negative thing. That's why people look up to you as a leader. That's why you can't wait for people to give you permission before you can lead. That's why you can't even have the talking point. The talking point is destroying you. Oh, well, how can you lead people that don't allow you to lead? Bro, I'm being nice. Retract that statement. You're shooting yourself on the legs. You're presented with a problem. The greatest people in the world are people who embrace problems, right? They see it as, wait, I can fix this. I can offer other people, right? And then their own is taken care of, right? They'll get taken care of with time. And it will be much more better because it's coming from a place of free will when they decide to take care of you. So please don't participate in this behavior. I get it. We've all been there. Somebody has told you, she doesn't listen, right? Just party, Jare. Don't do that. Don't do that. I get it for a temporary situation. I get it that you had a conversation in the afternoon, in the evening, and you stayed away. I get it that you stayed away for maybe till dawn, and then you come home just to go to bed. But overnight they can't find where you are. Don't do that. Don't do that. Your children will not forgive you. It's not because they don't want to forgive you. They're not capable of forgiving you. Your wife will have a hard time forgiving you. You have to pay dearly to earn that kind of forgiveness, and you will not be able to manipulate her into forgiveness. The aunties, the uncles, the family meetings will try to manipulate her to forgive you. She will find it extremely difficult to forgive you. So please, I need you to get it together, gentlemen. If you're one of the 20% here and you're listening to me, I love you. I think you can figure this out. I think the greatness is on the other side of figuring this out. That coconut head is not going to serve you. Okay? There's a difference between confidence and arrogance. There's a clear difference. If you don't see the difference, ask somebody. There's a clear difference between arrogance, coconut head, pride. Please hit the like button. Thank you. Only one person has hit the like button. They're different. Okay? One would destroy you, right? The scriptures talk about pride comes before destruction, right? One would destroy you. Confidence is sexy. Everybody just naturally want to take care of you if you have confidence. I understand that there might be some overlap, and sometimes when you're frustrated, you think it's because see finish don't enter. People are taking you for granted. Your wife has been taking you for granted. She hasn't been able to listen to you. So again, nobody is perfect. Okay, you might have made that mistake, but you need to nip that in the bud. You need to stop it. Okay, seek help. It's okay for a man to seek help. You would do that in the corporate setting. If you don't do it, if they really like you that much, they see your talent, they will force you to get some help, to get some training, to get some education. When it comes to your marriage, do the same thing. Just model the systems that work in the world and leverage it in your personal relationship. The systems that work in the world is education. And I don't mean necessarily formal education. I'm talking about just being open to the possibility that you don't know everything. Just when you're open, then more comes in, right? So please, I get it. I gave you guys an example of a friend who did that. I get it. Temporarily, he got a hotel room. There are people that do this. I get it. But it's not helpful. It's a short-term thing. You still don't feel good. You're not at rest, right? Because there's no rest for the wicked. Why am I calling you wicked? Because your wife is now seeing you as wicked. Well, she was wicked before. I get it. You're the leader. Okay? You're the leader, which means there's more responsibility, which also means there's greater rewards. All right? Just have a foresight to see the full cycle of how things work out. That short-term thing that you keep doing in your relationship only serves you short-term, but only steals a lot from you over the long period. It's not free when you participate in bad behavior like malice keeping, stonewalling, right? Silent treatment. It's not free. It costs you a lot. It's stealing away from your joy. So don't think, oh, well, no one is perfect. Sometimes you just have to do that. I agree with you. I'm telling you now to gather some new knowledge. Please hit the like button. Thank you for the 2 people that hit the like button now. Please, you have to really see this. Everybody's role is different when it comes to this marriage and relationship thing. Everybody's role is different for a good reason. Stop trying to compete with each other. Ladies, stop trying to be the leader in a marriage. You're shooting yourself on the legs. That's not your lane. That's not your lane. That's not your lane. You got to be careful when you go back and forth with this gender war thing. You have to be careful. It's not just the Gen Z people that are doing it. You're doing it inside of marriage. That's why people come to a place where they feel less than because they lost an argument. It's a goddamn argument. Okay? There's something they're saying that you're not hearing because you're stuck in your own way, in your own thoughts. Why don't you put that on the side for a greater good? It's not permanent. Just so you can hear where they're coming from, so you can land your point. So you can actually land your point on a fertile soil where it's going to germinate into what you're looking for. Stop seeing things from that short place. Let me say shout out to Beyond Braids. Yes, more responsibility, greater rewards. This is the way life works. This is not something I created. I had to also calm my ass down because I had the same pride. I had the same coconut head too, but I had to calm down. But I'm lucky. Maybe you're lucky to hear this, right? Because some people would never have that. They would never be fortunate like that, right? They will be destroyed before somebody gets to them. That hey, calm down with that prideful behavior. Shout out to Information Man. Shout out to you, bro. Good to see you. So please, if you are pissed off as a man, your woman pissed you off. I'm not invalidating your feelings. I've been there. I've been there. Trust me. Okay. You've been there. Please stop doing that. Don't ignore. Don't like isolate. Not isolate. Don't ignore your family overnight. Don't do that. You can stay away for the evening. Go to the bar, grab a drink, call a few friends. Say, hey, I'm going through a lot. I need to talk to someone. Let's grab a drink. Whatever, right? And sip on something. By the time you're done with that, come home at the end of the night. Don't ignore your family. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't ignore your family. Go back home. Go straight to bed. She wants to continue talking. Say, babe, I'm sorry for everything. Let's talk about that tomorrow. I'm exhausted. I'm sorry, I can't have the conversation. Just go straight to bed. More than likely, she will actually be already calm, and you can go to bed and you can have the conversation the following day. More than 24 hours, you continue to stonewall, and you're going to self-destruct. No, no, no. Well, the children are going to find the father. Now, this is the coconut head talking. The children are going to find their father when the right time. No, no, they're not. You're going to get older. Okay, like the rest of us, you're gonna get older, you're gonna regret these moves. You need to nib it in the bud at some point within the next 24 hours. Hey, babe, let's talk. Okay, I'm sorry I wasn't listening to what you were saying. I do have some point of contention, but let me hear what you're trying to say so we can actually have an agreement here. Sit down, sit the fuck down, and let her speak. Stop saying my point. Can I speak too? Okay, it's my turn now. Stop doing that, gentlemen. You're a freaking king. You're a king. Let her speak. You're not in a rush. Why are you in a rush? Who is rushing you? Let her get what she wants to say. Let her get it out. Allow her to get it out. Because if she doesn't get it out, it will bite you in the butt at some point. Because now it becomes resentment. It becomes, she's just going to learn another way to cut corners. Okay? That's what you do as a leader, right? You are sure of yourself. You know that nothing is going to, heaven is not going to fall out of the skies. Relax, chill, relax, relax like the king that you are. Let her get her point of contention. They say, okay, babe, I hear you. This is what I'm understanding from you. This is what I hear from you. This is what you're trying to say. All right, good. May I offer some alternatives? There's no, like, most women are not crazy like that, okay? They might come off as crazy if they don't get their point out. Let me talk to the ladies for a second, all right? If you're going through this, okay, you have a man who has literally disappeared from the house because you guys are, and you're now afraid, you're scared shitless, okay? 24 hours. After 24 hours, report it to the police. Report the issue to the police. You can't find your husband. You can't take the chances. Make sure he's safe. If he's safe, you called a few family members, you said he's safe, leave it alone. Let it be. Let it be. Okay. After all, he goes out and come home every day before. So just trust that everything will be fine. You might want to give him some space. Give him some space. After 48 hours, talk to someone again. Maybe somebody wise counsel to help you navigate that. Because I'm sure there are other issues before that. We're not going to pretend that there are other issues, that there were no other issues, right? There were other issues. Let it be. Let it be. But at some point, there's something about you that's attracting a man who doesn't know how to lead. Listen to me carefully, ladies. There's something about you that is attracting a man who does not know how to lead. It's not your fault. We're not talking about faults, who's to blame. We're not talking about none of that nonsense. Okay, who cares? Whose fault is it? We don't care. Okay, we're talking about your skill set, your seductive powers. Okay, we're talking about engaging your feminine power as a woman. There's a disconnect there somewhere. Okay, So it's not necessarily your fault. You don't have to worry about the rest of it. Disengage from all this toxic conversation about your romantic relationship. Engage your own power. It starts by working on yourself. Okay, so it's not, I'm not asking you to silent treat him now, because that's not going to help either. You have responsibilities, right? As a woman, yes, you do have responsibilities. Engage that responsibility. Keep doing what you're supposed to do as a grown woman, right? But when it comes to the romance, it's dead. You need to face that fact first. It's dead, and you need to rebuild, not rebuild, you need to build a proper foundation for that relationship. You're not going to rebuild the old stuff, because that stuff is not working. You need to build a proper foundation, and that starts with you. Okay? If he's not a man enough to handle a woman, then he needs to go back to school. He needs to engage wise counsel. Send him back to his pastor. Have him talk to someone. Right? Because again, you keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Like I told you earlier, it's not free. This is going to put traumatic emotional dent on your soul. You will not be able to trust relationship again if you don't stop it immediately. Understand this is just a temporary situation. Okay? Understand it's a temporary situation. It's not going to last forever. It will last longer if you keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. The same thing will keep happening again. If you don't change something, nothing's going to change. Okay? Nothing is going to change. The only thing is that something will break, right? So is that change or not? Well, change is inevitable, right? So, but that's not the kind of change you're looking for, right? You're looking to actually make things happen. You don't want to be a victim that things continue to happen to. You want to be in control of your reality. And that starts with you. Stop trying to control the other person. Men in general, they want admiration, they want loyalty, and they want respect. I'm going to warn you right now. Majority of men, they were not trained on how these things work. Okay? They're just winging things along just because they think they have a dick. That's what's happening here. Okay? A lot of our fathers tried their best. Their best is not good enough. Okay? A lot of our fathers have gone through some experiences, and then they figure things out when they're 55, 60, 70, right? At that point in time, their children are now, they're adults. They're now children raising children. So I want you to see that cycle for what it is. Please, just understand that this is not just you. It's just when you're confused, it's time to learn something new. And they went through their own, you have to go through your own. People say, oh, why? The best thing is to prepare for these things before marriage. I'm like, bro, you can't comprehend what we're talking about before marriage. I can tell you, you can learn it from a theoretical standpoint. Sure. I can give you an exam and you pass all the answers. Communication is skills. Communication is key. Just set healthy boundaries. Yeah, I can give you all that if you want, sure. You will pass the exam. When you get placed in the middle of this type of situation, then you realize that Kijikba can shower. Kaki no be leather. What's the other one? I'm trying to complete the full saying, right? Point is that emotions no be your mate. Okay? Emotions, we're all emotional beings. Don't let any lame people tell you otherwise. We're all emotional beings. How we express it from gender to gender is different. So sometimes when a man is about to express emotions, he expresses from a place of anger or shuts down. I just want peace. Baba, you can't have peace if you can't produce peace. You're the one that carried the seed, right? And you're shooting yourself on the legs, because if you don't bring enough peace to the table, she's going to multiply whatever you bring to the table, and then you call it she doesn't bring peace. Do you retract that statement? Abort mission. Don't say things like that. Don't say things, a woman will bring peace like that. Don't, stop it. It's blocking your head. Whatever you bring to the table is what she multiplies and reciprocates. So in other words, if you're thinking just short term, you're always going to suffer. Does she have responsibility? Did you not hear me? She multiplies and reciprocates. She receives, multiply, and reciprocate. Do you not understand the reciprocate part? As in, like, you're already killing it, you're destroying it before you get started. You have, as a man, it's your responsibility to be self-sustainable, self-sufficient. But what about women? They should be like, see, you just went there again. You're comparing yourself to a woman. Even women, they might not be able to put it into words. They're like, why are you, Jesus? You're just going to get dumped. They won't know why. Why are 80% of them filing for divorce? Welcome to the real world. That's what we're talking about. They do have the options now. They're exercising it. Well, then they can go their own way. There's, really, did you mean that? No, you don't mean that, especially if children are involved. It's your responsibility. Your first ministry, okay, is your family. Even if she's an ex-wife, you're still responsible for that. You're still responsible for that. And that's not a bad thing. Okay? So, where's the work here? Omar. Honestly, one of my clients just sent me that message. She's going through it right now. And I just felt like, okay, there are way too many people going through this. The stonewalling, the malice keeping, the silent treatment. Enough is enough. It's okay to back off a toxic situation. If you're having a toxic argument with your wife, I advise to avoid arguments with a woman. I've always said that. That is still very true. What do you mean? How are we going to avoid it? That's the point. I know you're going to argue because you're already arguing with me now. Avoid it. I know that argument will exist. As soon as you catch yourself, stop. Don't just stop and disengage. That doesn't mean grab your key and go away for the next 2 days. That's not what that means. It means stop and engage your ability to listen actively. Active listening is something that requires strength. That doesn't make you weak. It requires strength. It makes you weak when you cannot stop arguing with your wife. Ladies, same thing. It makes you weak if you're engaged in a toxic argument and you find it difficult to stop. My point is, but what I meant was, but you're saying that the third time. It's not landing. You're going to do the same thing over and over and expect a different result. Shout out to Oshi. Shout out to Beyond Braids. Good to see you. Shout out to Babes Wind. My point is, like, okay, I know it's going to happen. I'm not perfect. That's not what I'm saying here. When it happens, as soon as you remember Ola's voice, say, avoid argument, take a deep breath, go and grab a bottle of water. Say, I need to listen to what this person is saying. Ladies, you can practice the same thing. I need to hear what he's saying. I need to know where's that coming from? I'm just trying to understand why. You ask more why. Dig in deeper through the why. Hit the like button. Thank you. Hit the like button as you're coming in. Digging through the why. Why? 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 What's the purpose behind this thought? You don't have to ask exactly like why, so you don't come off as a robot. But that's the goal in your mind. You're listening. You're trying to understand where they're coming from. It could be arguments about money. It could be arguments about secrets, trust, infidelity. If you're still there, you're having this conversation, that means you care. That means you don't really have any other real options that you deem more valuable. So why don't you sit there and understand where all these issues are coming from? And then build on top of what you learn. You will collect data. You will collect insights. You will say, let me grab a bottle of water. Okay, let me give that a thought. I'll come back to it. Okay. Does that sound weak? No, it's not weak. That you need a lot of strength to do what I just described. You know what's weak? Operating from your place of emotion. When we're talking about family, your own family, that's weak. That's weak. And you know what it looks like or feels like on the other side? Wicked. It feels like wickedness on the other side. Ladies, you're coconut head. You don't know when to just calm down and see and trust. Yes, sometimes you have to trust from a place of intentions. After all, you're already doing that. If you're in that house with him, you're doing it. Because if you don't trust him, you won't sleep under the same roof with him. So it's very important that you understand that when you are operating from this place of weakness, your partner feels it as wickedness. So if they don't have the skills that I've described to the gentleman from the beginning, they will shut down. They might leave the house, right? They will operate from a place of weakness because hurt people hurt people. So what do we do with all of this? Let's start with you that you're listening to me right now. What do you do with this information? Self-reflection. Self-reflect. If you're generating results that you don't like, it's okay that you're upset. That's okay. That's normal human behavior. But at some point, I will hope as an adult, you catch yourself. You catch yourself and calm down. Take a shower. Go and take a cool shower. A warm water. Whatever suits you. Okay? Take time out. But time out does not mean overnight. That's not what that means. That means you're really, really self-destructing once it becomes a matter of overnight. And I don't mean if you're in the same house, you don't have to. If you're in the same house, they're about to go to bed, allow them to go to bed. Just let the person go to bed. They're in the same house. But don't sleep outside. Don't sleep outside unless something is so dangerous you're about to call the police happened. That's a different story entirely. Okay, something crazy happened and you want to call the police, by all means, please call the police, because if you're no longer here, none of this matters. Okay, call the police if you have to call the police if it's that bad. But if it's none of that, if it's purely emotional, you're just upset, your emotions, come home and sleep. There's your emotions, right? We can acknowledge that it's there, but you can't have it drive. You can't do that, right? It doesn't make any sense. Just imagine any part of our institutions, judicial, everything is just driven by emotion. Just imagine that, right? Well, that's not the same thing as a family. Exactly. Why would you want to do the family like that? Your children. So now the responsibilities you will normally partake in when it comes to the children, even if it's as simple as good morning, babies, you're not there to handle that because you're upset. Did I say you're wrong from being upset? No, we don't talk about right and wrong here. We don't care who's right or wrong. We're talking about the results you're generating and the results you can potentially generate with your behavior as we move into the future. Okay? So if you have to choose between right and wrong, you're wrong. How's that? You're wrong. It's your fault. Because honestly, I don't care who's right or wrong. I personally don't care. Okay? And I don't think we can really determine that with any momentary event. Because we don't know what people are reacting to. We don't know where they're coming from. We don't know if they're reacting to fourth generation ago. So who cares who's right and wrong? We let the police care about that. We're talking about your family. If you're obsessed with right or your righteousness, you will continue to collect, right? Because you're going to act out of place. Every time you feel like something is not fair, feelings. You feel like something is not fair. You have no idea what else happened that led us to this point. You're just stuck in your feelings. And now you want to be right. And then you end up in an argument. And then people start saying things that they don't mean. But those things will take their own place. Because now you said them. You can't pick them up again. Right? It becomes resentment. Because I can't believe you will say that to me. Well, like I said, nobody's perfect. You've done that. Good. You've created some damages. The earlier you can catch it, the better. So let's start changing that. Don't leave your house overnight. Do you not understand that this is a marketplace? This is a competitive marketplace. Somebody else, some other energy, gentlemen, is going to come and invade and take your family away? What do you mean? Bro, do you not get it? Somebody else is looking at your wife and say, what a gem. They too might collect later, but it doesn't matter. You lose your family. Somebody else saying, like, you remember the grass always seems greener on the other side. Probably where you're operating from right now. The grass always seems greener on the other side. That woman where you say they give you wuto wuto. That woman that's giving you shaggy, right? Somebody is looking at it and like, because they don't know what you're going through. They will destroy your family before they find out what you were running away from. But Owani Langbila Ruge, you have to nurture your own. Like the people that are the greatest in the world, they don't compare to other people's situation. They just look at their situation and they have a plan to create a better version of themselves on a day-to-day basis. But what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing right now? Why would you go to somebody else's house to go and sleep there? Because you're comparing your wife to somebody else. That's why. There's nothing else that can spell out incompetence more than that. It's a sign that you don't know what you're doing. That will even earn more respect. Yes, respect is 100% earned. If you dash people respect, they will lose it because they can't sustain it. It's like you go and look at all the stories. Majority of the stories of people that won lotteries, right? As in like millions of dollars of lotteries, they lose them. Why? Because they can't sustain it. It's the same thing. They don't have the capacity to sustain it. To whom much is given, much is required. So if somebody gave you a bunch of stuff, they give you respect, they give you trust that you have not earned, you better have the capacity to sustain them, because you cannot sustain it, you will lose them, and then it will hurt. So active listening is really, really key here. Please, I'm not asking, like I do advise people to disengage from toxic situation, but I don't ask them just to disengage, because there cannot be a vacuum. You have to engage with active listening. You have to engage with self-development. You have to engage with self-improvement, with self-reflection. If you're earning lack of respect, they are mimicking you. You lack self-respect. You might not be able to see it, but you don't have self-respect. That's why somebody is disrespecting you. It's really that simple. If you're dealing with somebody that seems like they don't love you, it's because you're lacking self-love. That's what it comes down to, because they don't really have a choice than to treat you the way you treat yourself. And what I'm saying is not anything momentary. It's not, but I took care of myself yesterday and went spa. No, it has to be a consistent behavior. It has to be the way, the energy you exude. It has to be the way you carry yourself over a period of time. People have no other choice than to mimic you. And they mirror the way you take care of yourself. That's how it works. So if you're a person, ladies, if you're a person that your husband just walked out on you because he went 2 nights, he went to sleep in a hotel, and he does this on a consistent basis, there's something about you that continue to make him feel he can get away with that. I agree with you. See finish, don't enter. Complacency, right? I agree 100% with you. What are you going to do about it? No, I'm not going to scold your husband for you. That's not how that works. That's a person inside of his own funk. If he doesn't seek help, he's not going to get help. But you know what you can do? If he has children with you, that means you have more power than you realize. That means you can influence. If you know what you're doing, you can influence what you're looking for. Yeah? You agree? Hit the like button, please, if you agree. If you disagree, say you disagree. Are there some wicked people in this world? Yes. There's some wicked people in this world. Both men and women. Some of them are gender warriors too. Okay. And they will perpetuate what they believe in, and they will also manifest it in real life. Yeah, there's some wicked people. Majority of people are just trying to live. They're just trying to cope. Majority of people are just trying to get by. Yeah, emotionally, physically, they're going to work. I'm looking at the highway in front of me right now. Majority of them just, they're driving by right now. They're just trying to live. Some of them are your wives. Some of them are your children. Some of them are your husbands, right? So while we're bringing there are wicked people into this conversation, we're talking about people you are married to. Somebody you fell in love with once upon a time. That's what we're talking about. So something has changed, not the wicked. I remember I told you their weakness will come off as wickedness on your end. I completely understand that. I get it. But remember that it's coming from a place of weakness. So you need to see it as that. Because guess what you're going to do if you're like most people? You're going to be like, oh, the grass is greener on the other side. Let me run to the other side. If you do that, you collect. Because everybody has something. Everybody has something that they are, some kind of problems that they are nurturing, trying to fix, that if they translate or if they transmit their problem into your world, you can't handle it. So stop comparing yourself to other people. If you're in the middle of crisis right now, your husband just shut down on you and left you for the day, and he's not talking, like it's okay, relax. It just means there's confusion in your marriage. It's time to do something about it. Seek help. Seek wise counsel. If you can't afford it, talk to your pastor. They're usually free. Before you drop $2 in offering, you will gather some insights. You will have somebody speak to you some peace. Okay. If you can afford it, I'll tell you what's expensive. Divorce is expensive. It doesn't matter what side you're on. Divorce is extremely expensive. So it's time for you to seek help. I am a marriage coach here. You can go into my description. You'll see of any other videos. Just manofprestige.com, and you can talk to me for free, and then we'll see if you're a fit for our program. But don't, this idea of you're just going to jump to the other side and sudden life is going to be perfect, or start divorce and life is going to be perfect. No, it's not, because your shadow is your shadow. Everywhere you go, there's a big beam of light always shining on you, and when you look around, there you are again. Your shadow is right there with you. Okay. I'm sorry. Does that mean there's no situation where you just have to run? There are situations like that. Absolutely. Sometimes divorce is the solution, because some people are baraku. There's nothing you can do about it. But you, first of all, don't make that move until you've engaged self improvement, self development first. Don't make that move, because again, like I said, your shadow follows you everywhere you go. Beyond Bray says, I agree, but influencing can sometimes be seen as behaving like man or controlling the man. No, not when you're a woman. If you're a woman, you are influential. Okay? And influence does not change who you are. Influence leverages who you are. Influence leverages your essence, your own essence as an individual. Remember I said engage your power, not my power, your own power, right? Engage your own game. Your game is your game. Your game is not about a cookie cutter solution, right? There's some things, like I've always said, that there are principles, but part of the principles is that it leverages your own essence. It leverages who you are, the authenticity of who you are, not the one that shows up because you're in the middle of crisis, because you've been triggered by bad behavior from your spouse and stuff like that. So when it comes to influence, that is literally the difference between influence and control. Influence is with respect to value when you give, right? But it starts with value to yourself. So anything that comes off as you're not being yourself, that's no longer influence, that's control. And generally, you will also be trying to control the other person. That's why I said, okay, it's easier said than done. Okay. Rebellious Aquarius says, seek help from God, my good friend. Shout out to you. I appreciate you for that. Let's all seek help from God. Also seek help. God is represented in people like you that look like you and I. They've gone through a lot of the stuff you've gone through, and they figure out an answer, right? They figure out some kind of method, something that work across the board. And how do we know? Because we have success stories everywhere. Okay, there are success stories of all types. Some of those success stories are actually divorce, believe it or not. So it's not just the divorce that we can demonize here. What we can demonize here is living a life of low quality. That's what we can demonize, either inside or outside of marriage. You deserve better. You deserve better than a low quality lifestyle, particularly from a mental health standpoint. You deserve better. And you can get what you want. You can absolutely orchestrate, you can absolutely design the life you want. But it starts with one thing: desire. That's it. Okay? If you can identify that you have the desire for a better life, a better quality of life, then all you need is support. Beyond desire, you need support. Okay? For our program, we had systems, right? Desire, support, systems, sustainability, because this thing we're talking about right now, if you're in a very toxic place, to come out of it is not going to be a matter of snap your finger. I wish. Because remember, you have your own coconut head. No matter how much you want to accuse that man, ladies, right? You have your own coconut head that has enabled decision. There's some enablers. There's enabler in management. We call it enablers, enabling features that allow that bad behavior to thrive to the point where everybody is now everywhere. There's some enablers, and that enabler oftentimes is something about you. Okay, it's not. This is not just a marriage. We're saying this. Okay, this is not a matter of shaming you in any systems that we value in the world. There are some things called enabling features, right? Those things need to be in place for everything that you see, the obvious stuff, to move. Feel me? So it's very, very important that we pay attention to that. Okay, so let me do some quick recap. Okay, the reason why I started this video today is because I just got a message from one of my clients, and basically, the husband went cold turkey. Okay, did not come home. It won't be the first time. I'm seeing that. Like I've said over the past week, the silent treatment methodology is an epidemic, and it's worse when we're dealing with men that shut down and go for days without speaking to their wives, because typically that's the leadership. Like regardless of what, when women are running their mouth, shout out to the ladies. No, I don't want a leader. I just want to be a partner. Yes, that's running your mouth. They still expect you to be a leader, gentlemen. Okay, and this is where you don't listen to women. You watch their actions. You see what they want by their actions. They have expectations that you'll be a leader. Okay. So why should I marry that kind of person? Ask me. If you ask me, who I go ask? I'm talking about you. You're married to that person. I'm not married to that person, right? If you're married to that person, there's a good chance that they're just trying to short-term fix the issue by saying what they want is a partner, right? And there's a reason why they're saying that. It's because they don't trust you being a leader. When a woman trusts you being a leader, she will not want to be a partner. It's just not a vocabulary that will come to her brain. Okay. All right. So all of that and one partnership thing is goes back to feelings. They feel like they can't trust you. You've dropped the ball a few times. They can't trust you. So what do you do with that? Well, let me become a partner then. No, that's not how to fix that, bro. She doesn't mean that. Okay. The underlying issue is that she doesn't trust you. You need to change your behavior, and then you need to be consistent. Okay, that's going to require a lot of patience on your part. Patience for who? For you, because there's a bad habit that you have, gentlemen, that's basically creating that lack of trust or distrust, right? So if you seek help, we can help you identify what that is, and then you can start on a journey to create this new experience. With new experiences, trust is inevitable. Trust is not something that people snap their finger and do. Sometimes, like I said in the beginning, you have to be intentional, especially if you're already in the situation, ladies. You have to be intentional because you're already kind of trusting, right? You sleep in the same bed with a person you don't trust. I mean, think about it. There's a part of you that trusts. So sometimes you have to exercise a little bit of what you might call faith now, right? Have some faith in the process. If you need something, you ask. If you need something, you learn how to communicate. You learn how to communicate in an influential way. You cannot communicate in an influential way by being, quote unquote, I'm just going to speak my mind. What? In what world? Where is that? What world is that a reality? I know we say it like it's like some kind of common sense stuff, right? But there's no world where you just speak your mind and never mind what the other side is thinking. Like there's no world. You don't do it at the nation building level. We don't do it at family level. You have to actually care about where you're going to speak to. Are they willing to receive it? Are they in a position where they can receive what you're saying? That's your responsibility, especially you gentlemen. That's your responsibility to make sure that they can receive what you're trying to say. Well, remember that guy we covered from Pop the Balloon? Right. I just, I'm just going to be me. That's the lamest thing any human being can say. As much as it sounds like common sense. You just going to be you? What about a better version of yourself tomorrow? What about some new skill set so you can generate better results, right? So like I said, influence leverages who you are, but also, we are going to use to create better results because at the end of the day, you're dealing with other human beings. The same is true when we're talking about your children, especially when they're past the age of 7. You better learn some influential skills. because now they start to have their own thoughts. They push back. Sometimes they push back directly in your face. Sometimes they push back by cutting corners. Sometimes they push back and they've hurt themselves before you find out. Very, very important. So I got that message and I was like, okay, maybe it was just hot in my mind. I wanted to drop something. That face you saw on the thumbnail was literally the face I had. I wasn't the one who left the house, but I just felt very sad for men who think this is the right way to go about their family, treating their own family. Okay, your wife is you. If you disrespect her, you lack self-respect. Okay, if she's feeling disrespect or disrespected, you lack self-respect. You just don't know yet. You can ask more questions. So when people say respect your wife, I know sometimes we get into the semantics as well. Men, women don't need respect. Forget that thing. She's feeling disrespect. That's a lack of self-respect on your part. If in-laws are involved, your in-laws, no, your own family, and they're dragging your wife, or they feel so comfortable to drag your wife, you lack self-respect. No. I'm not talking about your wife now. I just mentioned that to make that a point, right? If your family think it's okay, they deem it fit, your mother deem it fit to just talk anyhow at your wife, and you now say, but she's the wife, Baba, you lack self-respect. Because that's not just wife, that is you. And for as long as you continue to think that way, your mother, who is also a woman, will continue to come and help you because she thinks, okay, she feels you're not really leader enough. You get it? So she's going to try to come and help you. On what aspect it looks like, they just love me. Nobody can love me more than my mother. Really? That's a completely irrelevant conversation. What I am saying is that your own mother does not trust your leadership skills, so she's coming in to help you. Now, she's a woman. She's going to buzz with another woman. I don't know what part of your brain thinks that anything positive is going to come out of that. These principles are true across the board. So what do you do in that kind of situation? First of all, acknowledge that you lack self-respect. What is it about you? Make your sister think she can come into your household and talk at your wife anyhow. That's number one. Then when you engage that conversation, you understand what's going to say. Okay, first of all, that's my wife. You know that, right? Wait. I know but it's no but. That's my wife. Number one, you acknowledge that first. Okay? All right. I'll handle it. Okay? But go home. Go home. I'll drop you home right now. I'll drop you at home right now. No, but even if it's your older sister, listen, I'll take you home. I'll take you home right now, and then we'll address the issue, if necessary, later. Most likely, there will be no need to address that issue because you're not married to them. They're extended family at this point. Your wife, your children, or you, that's your family now. It's a matter of learning how to set priorities in life. Okay? It's a matter of understanding that it's not about picking one over the other. It's about, in life, some things create downstream effects. So you have to set priority for the greater good of everybody. Of them, particularly your family, your wife, your children. So you walking around town and making your wife look stupid makes you look stupid. Do you not understand? No, they're not going to say it to your face. It makes you look stupid. Yeah, by the way, you succeeded in making your wife looking stupid. But she'll figure it out at some point. She'll figure it out. No matter how morally upstanding she thinks she is, she's going to show you that she's a woman. She multiplies everything. Everything. There's no way around it. You don't escape this. So as soon as you can catch yourself, you know you've done this kind of behaviors in the past, it's time to redeem yourself. The earlier you do that, the more you can fix some of those damages, and then you need to rebuild a new ship entirely. You need to rebuild something brand new entirely, because whatever you had before does not work. It does not work. So, like I was saying earlier on, you're upset. It makes sense that a human being is sometimes upset. It just makes sense. Okay? You need to stay away from the house for the night. You do have the luxury. You can stay away till, I don't know, 9 p.m., 10 p.m. before you come home. I've been there. I know that the person you love the most can frustrate you at that level. I get that. I understand it. Right? So you feel the need to stay away. But overnight, the devil is going to come in and literally destroy everything for you, just because you felt some type of way, just because you wanted to show your own wife shaggy. Again, lack of self-respect is there, right? Because no matter what the situation is, you'll come home in the evening, it's like, I'm just going to go to bed, we'll talk tomorrow. Overnight, you go sleep at the hotel. You that you have a house, you that you're a king, you go and sleep at the hotel. Overnight, you go and sleep at a family's house. You look stupid. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that. Some dignity. Jesus, reserve, when you're upset as a man, reserve some dignity. Reserve some dignity. Now, some stuff can frustrate you that you feel like you're going to do something stupid. Yeah. I want to acknowledge that. That can happen. But more, I've seen this over and over again. Bro, it's lack of self-respect. If she's still in your house, you need to go back there and sort the issue out. The idea here is that that's a difficult process, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Let me come in the chat a little bit. Oh, Neelam say, where are you from? What do you mean? Where I am right now, where I was born, or where I was raised? Tell me, elaborate. Which one do you mean? Beyond Brace, oh, I have suffered so much. Mine will even fight me for them. And said they didn't talk bad enough at me. Yeah. Yeah. Sesma says, rebellious, how does one get help from God? Give a step by step. You're asking another jam question to answer a question. Neelan say, where are you from? Okay, yeah, elaborate. What do you mean by where I'm from? Where I am right now, where I live, where I was born, or where I was raised? Those are 4 different answers that can fit whatever you're saying. Or my accent. Are you talking about my accent? Okay. If that, whichever one you're talking about, let me know. So please be careful out there. In this story, in this particular story, if you're, I've given 5 steps. We're about to release that 5 steps right now on the sister channel. The sister channel is called Prestige Marriage Academy on YouTube. All right, that's the sister channel. We're about to release a video on it's called Save Your Marriage, 5 Steps Instant Cure to Silent Treatment, Malice Keeping, and Stonewalling. We said instant because these are emotional matters, and you can absolutely have instant relief if you have support. Okay, but for a permanent fix, it's a process. It's a process, and it's a process that will shake you up yourself. But that's what it takes, because you didn't end up here overnight. So don't expect any kind of overnight fixes anyway, overall. But, if you're dealing with this either as a victim or as the perpetrator, step 1, assess the part and the role you played. Step 2, do not create excuses for your partner. Step 3, let the silent treatment and malice keeping cycle run. If that means if it's just in the house, okay? They're in the house, they're not talking to you, let them get through the process. It's an emotional attack on their own self. Let them get through the process. You too, don't just sit there waiting for that to finish, okay? That takes me to step 4. You're not just going to sit there and be waiting for that. At the same time as step 3, simultaneously engage in self-improvement, okay? Because Listen, we're not just going to sit around and blame your spouse. Okay? Matter of fact, we're not going to blame. Matter of fact, if you have any self-guilt, we need to check it, because that self-guilt will destroy your issues, will make it worse for you. Okay? So blaming, going in any direction to self or to the other person, will only make matters worse. And step 5, once you've gone through step 5 requires step 1 to 4 over a period of time. Step 5, seduce, aka influence your partner into building a better foundation. All right. So that's what I have for you. Sesmo says some any questions. If you have any questions around this, if you're dealing with this, you can post it right now. I'll wait another 60 seconds and then I'll end this session, because I didn't plan to come live. I just wanted to get those out really quick. Sesmo says some answers are overly spiritual and mystical. God put us in the earthly form for a reason. Thank you, Sesmo. I just try to be nice when I answer that, because when people say God, sometimes most of the time they mean well, but they're just going to derail the conversation. They're just going to say, hey, leave it in the hand of fate. And then next time they will be the one shutting down and leaving the house for 24 hours. They're the one that pray the most in church, right? Right? So, but I try to be nice, because I understand that they are coming from a place of weakness. Okay? And that's not God's fault. that's their own personal fault, because you have enough examples around you to realize that God has placed a lot of stuff in our, like we are the custodian of a lot of power that we can actually learn how to use, right? So that's not God's fault. There's all kind of scriptures that actually elaborate more on that, but you can see them coming, so you just have to be nice so they don't derail the conversation. Any questions? I'll end this in about 20 seconds. Then you guys can go about having a fantastic rest of your day. I know some of my American people are probably in church on their... I'm not home. I'm away from the house, so I'm not in church. They're probably on their church live broadcast. They'll probably, if you're watching this later, make sure you leave a comment. Just say replay gang, #replay gang, and then tell me something. If you have any questions around this, you want to ask the questions, you can also come to the backstage. Backstage is whatsapp.manofprestige.com. You go to that website on your phone, it will take you to the backstage, so you can always engage me there 24/7. All right. Beyond Brace says preparing for church. I see. All right. You guys have a fantastic rest of your Sunday. I think I'm going live later on to talk about, I haven't decided yet. I think I'm going to talk about the Davido child custody stuff. Davido is getting married on Tuesday to his girl, the love of his life. But Davido has a lot of drama in the media, so he's getting married. Somebody said, was it Babe's Wins? Was it you? That was Babe Wins, right? You said we should let him breathe. I promise I will let him breathe. But I think we will talk about this. I will also probably call into Auntie B's show in the afternoon. She's going live about this. So I will try to create some time to call into that show. So hopefully being enlightened, educated. I'll see you on the next one. Please share. Noble News says, I'm from Russia. Shout out to you, Noble News. Subscribe to the channel and keep coming back. We go live the weekdays in the evening, Eastern time. Okay. She said, Che is a bot. What's it? It's a bot. Che, somebody has a bot? You never know. Anyway. All right. Hopefully be enlightened, educated. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.